Stumbling home, we don't know where we're going. Should've turned back hours ago. Out of our minds, I guess we're sleeping outside. You're still a good time, even in the cold.
Hello, welcome to Defender Adventure. We are Paul and Chrissy from the UK, and with our Land Rover Defender that we have called Sterling, we are travelling the world.
Guess we need a new plan. There's a motel a mile down the road.
Good morning and welcome to Defender Adventure episode 22. Now, we don't normally do this at the beginning of a video, but I just wanted to start this video by answering a couple of questions that we've received recently. The first question was, what are your travel plans? Because you seem to be travelling, and I think the phrase they used was, in a Willy Nilly fashion. Well, yes, you're right, we have been. Obviously COVID had an impact, and then just more recently we've had a lot of gusting winds, really for the last couple of months. And we've been waiting for the warm weather to travel north in the States, so we can travel northwards with it. Our grand plan, our very big plan, is to try and do a loop around the world, starting and ending in the UK, with Alaska as the top left of our journey and New Zealand as the bottom right. Our more immediate North American plans are that we are heading towards Canada right now, and we have to be out of the States by the end of June. Our 6-month visa expires at the end of June, so we're heading for Canada, and our first destination is going to be Vancouver Island. From Vancouver Island we plan to travel eastwards across the entire width of Canada. We did this previously when we first started our journey, but it was a very quick rush across Canada in the middle of winter. So this time we're hoping to take our time and enjoy the sights and locations that we didn't have time for previously, and in particular places on the far east coast like Newfoundland and Labrador. At the end of this year we'll be flying back to the UK for Christmas, and we're currently considering doing that from Boston in Massachusetts. When we return to the States, then it will be in March 2023, and our plan then is to head south down the east coast of the US and then along the southern states, bringing us right across back over to the west of America, where we'll eventually turn south into Mexico and then continue south all the way down to the bottom of South America. The other question was someone we met the other day, and they asked, do we hope to make money from our YouTube videos? And the answer to that is no, we don't. We just make these videos really for our memories. We make them for our family. We like our kids to see that we're spending their inheritance, and we make them for friends that we have at home, and also for friends, a lot of friends that we've met and made along our journey. We like to keep people up to date with where we are and what we're doing. We're not young enough, good looking enough, or professional enough to make regular YouTube videos. We just turn them out as we can. We don't want to put ourselves under pressure. A big part of what we're doing is having a certain lifestyle, and to put ourselves under a lot of pressure to produce regular videos is not something we want to do. We enjoy making the videos. There's hard work recording and editing, we generally turn out one a month, but it depends on what's happening in our lives as to whether that's the case or not. But no, we're not looking to make any money. We don't ask people to give us the thumbs up and to subscribe. We love to hear from people. If there's any comments, we always reply. But no, that's we just want to show people the lifestyle that we're living. We obviously recognise there's certain people that have an interest in the Land Rover Defender. There's people that are interested in the places we go, in the lifestyle that we live, the people we meet. But we don't really, unfortunately, we don't specialise in any one of those. We just film a little bit of everything. Jack of all trade, master of none. But hopefully you'll enjoy what we do, and I will stop talking right now and we'll get back to the video. At the end of our last video, we were in Big Bear carrying out some maintenance works to Stirling. Leaving Big Bear, we continued to travel in a bit of a Willy Nilly fashion, but our first destination was to head south to a place called Anza Borrego Desert State Park. We spent a total of 7 nights in this park, with 3 of them at Bow Willow Campground in the south of the park. We spent 1 full day at the campground catching up on video editing, and Chrissy was keeping her journal up to date. But most of our time, however, was spent travelling through the park, taking advantage of the many miles of off-road driving and hiking that is available. Anza Borrego Desert State Park contains some of the most diverse desert landscape in the world. Covering more than 600,000 acres, the park is huge and reaches south almost to the Mexican border. Nearly 2/3 of the park is pristine wilderness and surprisingly provides shelter to an amazing amount of plant and animal life. One of our first adventures in the park was to drive to the Wind Caves trailhead. A mile-long trail, we were told, would bring us to the Wind Caves, where there's some wonderful views of the surrounding countryside could be had. It was the place to go, we were told, if you were looking for some peace and quiet. But it seemed like the message hadn't got through to the United States Air Force. With planes and helicopters flying overhead at regular intervals, we reached the Wind Caves to find the views were pretty special. I, personally, wasn't that struck by the Wind Caves, but Chrissy was. You could almost say she was beside herself. There are a number of viewpoints across the park, and one of the best has to be Fons Point, if you don't mind heights. I was put to the test here by Chrissy, who insisted she wanted a photo of me on a small outcrop, while she remained safely seated at the viewpoint. I really must check if there have been any recent changes to our insurance policy. Another favourite type of hike by many who visit the park is through narrow slot canyons. We did a few slot canyon hikes, with our favourite one being
the South Palm slot, located just off Calcite Mine Road. This slot canyon wasn't as narrow as some of the others, but I think the views in this canyon were better. Unfortunately, we spent a little too long in the sun that day. Before we left the park, we headed to the town of Borrego Springs to visit the metal sculptures that can be found in a number of locations around the town. I would say that overall we had a great time in the park and would thoroughly recommend it to anyone who's considering a visit there. We left Anzo Borrego feeling good, but after camping 7 straight days in the desert, we probably didn't smell so good. So we booked into a hotel in Prescott, had a shower, and from there headed towards Sedona, passing Montezuma's castle along the way. This 20-room high-rise apartment nestled into a towering limestone cliff tells the story of ingenuity and survival of Native Americans in the unforgiving desert landscape. Sedona, as it turned out, was far too busy for us, and with our plans disrupted again, we then went into crazy Willy Nilly travel mode. Our journey took us through the Tonto National Forest, and from there to wild camping and hiking on the Mogollon Rim. We camped in campgrounds, in forests, and even on a lakeside beach. Before eventually reaching the grandest canyon of them all. We arrived at the canyon in the afternoon, and we took a shuttle bus from the Grand Canyon Village and headed out west towards Hermit's Rest. And from there we hiked back along the rim. Fortunately, our campground wasn't located too far from the canyon, so with an early start, we managed to make it back the following morning to catch the sunrise. Leaving the Grand Canyon village behind, we drove east along the south rim and called in at the various viewpoints. Until we reached the last one at Desert View. From the Grand Canyon, we continued our journey north through Arizona, in a Willy Nilly fashion obviously, until we eventually reached the Utah state border. We took the obligatory Forrest Gump photograph as we passed through Monument Valley, and then spent our first night in Utah at Gooseneck State Park. We camped at the state park on the edge of the overlook that looked down onto the San Juan River, many feet below. The following day, after an early morning drive to Bluff for some breakfast, which I have to say included some very healthy Navajo fry bread, we returned the short distance to the Valley of the Gods. The Valley of the Gods comprises open desert landscape and wonderfully shaped towering red rock formations. A 17-mile dirt road drive gets you up close and personal. We camped that day at the foot of a large rock formation called the Castle. We then spent the following morning enjoying the remainder of the 17-mile drive and the numerous photo opportunities. Only a handful of miles from the exit of the Valley of the Gods, the road climbs from the valley floor to the top of a plateau via a series of switchbacks called the Moki Dugway. Moki is a local term for the ancient Puebloan people who inhabited the Colorado Plateau hundreds of years ago. Dugway is a term used to describe a roadway carved from a hillside. The Moki Dugway was constructed in 1958 as part of the route used for transporting mined minerals to a processing mill in Mexican Hat down in the valley. At the top of the Moki Dugway is a turning to a viewpoint called Muley Point, which offers spectacular views and a chance for wild camping along the rim. As it was such a wonderful location, we decided to spend 2 nights here. And with such great views on hand, I thought I would take the opportunity to let you see my favourite item of camp cooking equipment, our rocket stove. The rocket stove lights quickly and needs only a handful of small sticks to cook a complete meal such as this one, our version of a chili con carne / nachos type of affair.
How is it, Chrissy?
Perfecto.
And that brings us to the end of another very busy day. All that's left now is to make our next Willy Nilly travel plans and to enjoy a spectacular sunset. Thanks for watching. See you soon.